So, if you've ever heard the horror stories about memorizing thousands of crazy, obscure words for the SAT, I've got some really good news for you. The game has totally changed. Okay, let's dive into exactly how you can master the vocabulary section of the new digital SAT.
Here's the bottom line. The old SAT, that was all about brute force memorization. Cramming words you'd probably never, ever use again. But the digital SAT is all about something way more useful. Understanding how a word actually works inside a sentence. It's a complete shift in focus.
That's right. You can basically throw out those dusty old flashcards with words like pulchritudinous. We're here to walk you through the new playbook. And trust me, it's all about strategy, not just what you've memorized.
So, what do these new questions actually look like? Well, they're called words in context. You get a short paragraph with a single word missing. Your job is to pick the perfect word to fill that blank. And here's the secret. Every single thing you need to figure it out, the tone, the logic, the evidence, it's all right there in the text. The answer is literally hiding in plain sight.
And this really gets to the heart of what the new test is all about. The College Board isn't trying to test your internal dictionary anymore. Nope. They're testing your ability to reason, to analyze, and to figure out the meaning from the clues they give you. It's a test of your critical thinking skills. Okay, so how do we get really good at this new skill? Well, we're going to gear you up with what I like to call the Word Detective Toolkit. These are the strategies you're going to use to crack every single one of these questions.
Let's really lean into this idea for a second. I want you to think of every one of these short passages as a mini crime scene. The missing word, that's the mystery you've got to solve. And the author has left a trail of clues for you to follow. Your job is just to find them.
And here they are, the 7 key tools in your detective kit. These are the types of context clues that the SAT loves to use to point you straight to the right answer. We won't break down every single one right now, but let's zoom in on a couple of the most powerful ones.
Okay, this one is one of my absolute favorites because it's so clear-cut. Anytime you spot a signal word like however, but, or although, it's like a giant flashing neon sign. It's telling you that the word in the blank is going to be the opposite of another idea in that sentence. It just creates this perfect, logical path right to the answer.
Next up, we have inference, and this is your secret weapon for sure. Here's how it works. Before you even glance at the answer choices, read the sentence and, just using the logic of the passage, think of your own word that would fit in the blank. Then, all you have to do is find the answer choice that's the closest match to your word. This is awesome because it stops you from getting confused or tricked by those tempting wrong answers.
All right, so you've got your basic toolkit, but what happens when the clues are a little more subtle? Or maybe you're stuck between two choices that both seem pretty good. Well, now it's time for some advanced detective tactics.
Listen up, because this is a huge one. So many students fall into this trap. They pick a word that sounds really complex or smart because they think that's what the SAT is looking for. But the truth is, precision is way more important than how complicated a word sounds. The right word has to fit the exact meaning and the tone of the passage perfectly.
And here's a super simple pro tip to help you do that. Check the word's connotation. Just ask yourself, does this sentence feel positive, negative, or just neutral? The word you pick has to match that feeling. If the sentence is criticizing something, you need a word with a negative vibe. It's such a powerful way to eliminate the wrong answers fast.
Okay, that's enough theory. Let's put these new detective skills into action. We'll do a few quick examples using words that pop up all the time on the digital SAT. I'll read the sentence, you take a second to think of a word for the blank, and then we'll look at the answer. Ready?
Okay, so they praised one part, but they hated another. That sounds like they had some mixed feelings, right? And the word is ambivalent, which means having mixed or conflicting feelings. See how that little contrast word but pointed us right there?
All right, the hypothesis is new, so she's going to need some solid proof. We can infer that she needs evidence that's based on real-world data or observation, not just some idea. The perfect word here is empirical, which means based on observation or experience.
Oh, this sentence practically gives us the answer. That not a theoretical one is a massive clue. What's the opposite of something theoretical? Well, something that's sensible, realistic, and practical. And that's our word, pragmatic, which means dealing with things in a sensible and realistic way.
So, you've seen the new rules, you've got the toolkit, and you've even tried it out on a few cases. What's the final piece of the puzzle to truly mastering this part of the SAT?
And this, right here, is probably the most important takeaway of all. Knowing these strategies is one thing, but being able to use them quickly and accurately when the clock is ticking, well, that's another thing entirely. The only way to build that speed and that confidence is through consistent, timed practice.
So, the new SAT vocabulary isn't a test of memorization anymore. It's a game of logic and detection. And now you have the playbook. You have the tools and the strategies. The only question left is, are you ready to get out there and start playing?